Hey, Internet. I want to talk about my experience with schizophrenia, what it's like to have it. Kind of feel comfortable sharing this stuff now since it's been so many years and kind of getting better, not dealing with it and all the likes. But, yeah, it kind of started when it's around like 14 or 13 or something. Kind of had like a brief psychotic break where I felt like my teachers were spies. Well, one teacher and like another teacher later down a few years later. But yeah, I ended up thinking he was a spy and he was working for an old program for the war, like trying to find prospects to join who knows what. And being a kid and fantasizing, like kind of chalked it up to that. But there was this one time I was walking down the street and I felt God's presence, and it's like I made a wish to him and held some meaning to me. And it's like I woke up in the middle of the night one night and there's an alien standing next to my bed. It's like the light was on and I was like, I usually turn the light off, but then I woke up and I instantly fell back asleep. And then I woke up the next morning and the light was still on, so I was like, what was that? And I thought aliens or demons, and I thought there was like a cloaked demon in my house for a week. I ended up telling my best friend about it, and he's like, "Oh, you're crazy, man!" Like, kind of made fun of me, and I was like, I decided not to tell anybody, and yeah, but yeah, and then like later in high school, I kind of similar thing happened. Kind of thought teacher was a spy and stuff like that, and it wasn't as bad, but I was kind of like leading up to it. I went to university for computer science, and I don't know. I couldn't really think straight and couldn't focus, and I'm just like staying in my room all day and not leaving my room, and I'm not sure why, but it's like I was kind of afraid of the outside world, and my grades started slipping, and yeah, I don't know if it was because of schizophrenia or like I'm just a horrible procrastinator and kind of a hermit anyway, but yeah, it didn't go too well, and I ended up thinking like cameras were in the washrooms, and like I thought people were monitoring me and looking over my essays and my theory or my equations, and they were trying to like steal theories from me or something. And yeah, I don't know, I got so bad, like I was just drinking all the time and so depressed, and so I just couldn't do it anymore, and I'm just dropping out, giving up. Uh, then I went back home and decided to try again, and I was like, well, like might as well do a little bit better. So I tried again, and I went to instrumentation, pre-app for it, and so I was doing good in all my classes, like A's and B's, and made it to the second year. But I ended up smoking a whole bunch of pot that year, and I don't know why. I knew I had some type of psychiatric illness, so I'm not sure why I started smoking pot, but like it got really bad, and I ended up thinking vans were outside my house and cameras were everywhere, and like I remember seeing this philosopher-looking guy, and reading a philosophy book in front of me in the train, and I was like, oh, he must have came back in time to study my philosophy about nothing or something. He was impressed about it. I don't know, I was just making these stories up in my head and made sense, and I believed them. And people would make small gestures on the train with their hands, and it's like I thought they were signaling to me about some conspiracy or something. And yeah, but yeah, I went to a counselor, and she's like, have you ever talked to anybody in your whole life about any of this stuff? And I was like, no, you're the first person. Yeah, but yeah, I ended up going to the psychiatrist and like talked to her about it for like 5 minutes. And the first thing she said, she's like, have you ever heard of schizophrenia? It's like, no, I haven't heard of schizophrenia, but like I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is or anything. And little did I know, like my father kind of had it, and he didn't know either, and nobody really knew what schizophrenia was. And it's like all these weird stories from my dad about seeing stuff and all this stuff. Like it's like, oh, that's what schizophrenia is. Like, holy moly! But yeah, I ended up dropping out of college too, and yeah, I went to work. I was like, well, I can't do what you want. I might as well just work and keep trying. So I worked at a recycle company. I worked for an HVAC company. I worked for a sheet metal company. I worked for a pulp mill. And then for my sheet metal and HVAC company, I kept thinking my bosses were spies, and they're like trying to pin me for a crime I didn't commit. And there's a whole big conspiracy about that, and I just kind of kept it to myself, like hunkered down and try to figure it out. But it's like it slowly got to me, and I've only ever been able to hold a job for like 8 months, unfortunately. Like I don't know, like I just psychosis like keeps coming back. And yeah, I've kind of got better at dealing with it, so I was thinking about trying again, but kind of lived and learned, and kind of getting better every day and learning how to deal with it. But yeah, all that happened, and I kind of battled the Freemasons for a year, and the Illuminati, and conspiracies I don't want to get into. And yeah, I went to work for a lumber mill. And that's where like it really got bad, and I had to be like in the hospital. And it's like started out with me like thinking, I went there first day, I was like, I'll show all these people watching me and stuff like that. And it's like first day I was like thought the whole place was infiltrated by like spies and stuff like that, and thought they had like belts, like increasing the time of belts on timers and they make it faster to see how hard I could go and see how hard they could push me. And I was like, well, let's go for it. Like if you want to test me. So I pretty much just gave it my all at this lumber mill, and it was just a normal job, but it was a hard job. But it was just, I don't know, like this is what was going through my mind. I thought this is all a big test or something. So I fought, and then like I was like taking 400 milligrams of Seroquel at the time, and like at one point I stopped working, I threw it down the driveway, and it's like people were circling me with drones, and in my mind anyway, I just saw lights, I wasn't sure what they were, but it's like people were behind trees I couldn't see, and everybody was whispering about me, and I ended up just stopped taking the Seroquel. I was like, I can't work on this stuff. It's too sedating, and it's like a pretty heavy drug, and it's like I gotta give it what it's worth, and so I started going to the lumber mill and stopped taking my meds, and yeah, about like a couple months after, like people were wearing fat suits, and everything was conspiracy, and every board that was short was a conspiracy against me, and it's like these guys, the new guys, were spies that pissed me off, and and I was like, oh, I gotta remain cool and calm and collective. Like battle in time and space, you gotta stay cool, calm, and collected. I figured, and yeah, yeah. And then like one day, I was thinking about I thought I was on a reality TV show, and I ended up thinking like the Russians had the whole community surrounded, and I was just totally losing my mind, and yeah, I just totally lost it one day, and like I was sitting there trimming boards, and they're coming at me, and then I broke down in tears in my last day, and I was like, oh, they're all making fun of my brother on this reality TV show, and it's like they're all against me, and the whole world's against me pretty much, and it's like I thought every word I was saying was on television, being broadcast to the world, and like every time I went to the washroom, I had no privacy, and yeah, it got to me, and I just ended up walking off the job and never going back, and then decided to go to the bush huckleberry picking, and that was an adventure. I had to get away from all these cameras and walking through the bush, like talking to trees, and yeah, found this valley, and thought my grandpa hid it for me to find because there was this gold vein there or something, and it was destiny, and made all the sense in the world, and ended up getting lost for overnight, and like almost like I was super dehydrated walking out, like fainting and stuff. It was kind of weird, but I was like throwing up huckleberries and all this different stuff, and but yeah, and then it kind of took a dark turn. Like I was like, well, I gotta follow where fate leads me, and so I was like, I had this bullet, and I was like spinning it around, and yeah, cat, I see you, man, girl, but what? Yeah, I had this bullet, and I was spinning around, following it where it led, and yeah, walked up to my back shop and span around and landed straight up, pointing straight up there, and I was like, well, how do I follow this? I'm like, well, I guess I gotta go to heaven, and yeah, I ended up taking home some meds, like I didn't know what to do, and I ended up just laying on the roof, like taking all my meds, and I ended up like blacking out, and brother called the ambulance, and then I like woke up in the hospital and thought like the Russians had control of the hospital for some reason, and just totally delusional still, and Yeah. Ended up like breaking out of the hospital and running up the mountain and getting chased by the cops, and cops ended up like chasing me down and bear hugging me, and some like woman I was about to fight all these cops, and some woman cop ran up and bear hugged me. It's like, well, I just gave up there, and I was like, well, like if they're gonna experiment on me, like I guess that's my fate. And yeah, yeah, they ended up bringing me to the daily, and I was kind of hit it all and didn't really tell them anything. And yeah, they got me in some meds again, and I got better. And yeah, that was kind of the darkest point of my life. But yeah, and then I kind of battled like thinking the Freemasons were after me for a while, and like all these conspiracies, and kind of went on for years of kind of lingering. And I realize now it's just all a bunch of madness. But you know, yeah, just the psychosis keeps happening like over and over again. Like I get better and it comes back, and I get better. And but like I used to only hear whispers like every so often. But about like a year ago, a little over a year ago, I started hearing them every day. And like there's always whispers in the background. Like they're not loud, fortunately, but and like I hallucinate sometimes. And, like I'll see my cat run into my room and walk upstairs, and my cat's just sleeping on the couch, and get confused and see her in the corner of my eye sometimes. And I used to see shadow figures, and it's like I saw like orbs float around and zaps of energy, like stuff like that. And I always see like dots appear, like red, red and blue mostly, and white. So a couple times they were purple, but like I'll see pinpricks of light appear and get confused about that. Like start thinking people are sending like light back in time and stuff like that to like signal me and change the future, and spiral down that. And I still kind of spiral. Like I catch myself better nowadays, but I had this experience where I would I made like a zap in my brain, and then all of a sudden like waves of evil and love would come at me. It'd be like love, evil, like rainbows. Like they'd have like colors associated with them, and like it would just would progress like more intense love and evil. Like in between those was good, and the other side was bad, and like in between those were different things. And finding all these different loves, and told it to my brother, and he's like, "Oh man, people would pay money to have that experience." It's like, no, you definitely do not want this. Like this is like the worst thing I've ever experienced, and I don't even know how to explain this severity. I don't even understand it to today, but it's like I'd black out. Like I'd catch myself in the fridge, grab a milk, and I'd look over, and there'd be like 6 drinks on the coffee table, and I'd be like, what is even going on right now? Like I'd come to, and everybody freaking out for some reason, and I don't even know what happened, but it was definitely a weird experience. And I'd sense these orbs floating around, and spirits kind of battling demons, and kind of combat them with light, love, and good. And it's like I could connect like dark with light and light with dark, and like dark to dark and light, and like I'd have different like things I could connect in different ways, and like as I don't know, and then like these spirits like they like had me trapped, kind of like it's like I had nowhere to go. I like oh it's like spiritually, like any move I made, like it was checkmate, and like everybody was like egging me on to like win the game or something, or I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's like play to win, and it's like I'm playing to lose. Like I don't know, but yeah, I haven't really figured that out yet. But yeah, like it's only been in my body lately, like kind of spiritual wise, like kind of evil and weird spirits inside me and stuff like that. But I've kind of been learning how to process it, and hasn't really been like a whole spatial sense like awareness kind of thing. But it's like sometimes my internal compass will get locked, and I'll walk around, but I'll stay in the same spot, and it's like I'm walking through like different planes, and one person's leading me this way and one person's leading me that way, and it's like I'm stuck in between all these planes and getting glimpses of them all, and it's like I don't even know where I am. I had to try and figure my way back home, but I don't know how to explain it. It's all spiritual stuff. Like there's like a spiritual aspect to it, but yeah, yeah. But I've been getting better and ready to fight again and try and work and see where it leads me. And I don't know. What else do I want to say? I don't know. Like meds help. I take paliperidone, and like it was like my mind was glitching my whole life. Like my mind would spin in loops of the same song, and had all these different things going on in my mind all the time, and it made no sense. And it's like it makes me actually think straight, and it gives me clarity of mind. Like I remember like the first week I took it, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is how you're supposed to think, and this is a miracle. And it's like anytime I start getting a little sideways, I just take some Seroquel, and like in a week and a half or 2 weeks, like I'm usually back to my soul self, and I'm really grateful for that. And lately I've been practicing Tai Chi, and it's been really helping. And like meditation, I've been meditating for many years, and it's gave me some peace of mind and some mental strength, and practicing mindfulness. And yeah, but yeah, it's a battle. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, and not sure the point of this video, but just kind of get myself out there, and so people have an idea, and vent a little bit. Like it's like I wouldn't talk about this stuff for years, and like there's a select few that would even know what's going on, and it's like I don't know. I feel comfortable sharing it nowadays, and all that stuff. But should I leave it? What should I end the note on? I don't know. There's better days, and some people have it worse than me, and a lot of people have it worse, and yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I want to say, and hope for a better future, and keep trying. Peace.